In the Diocese of Harrisburg, at the first in a series of meetings, Bishop RONALD explains to Catholics what's being done to stop clergy abuse and help victims, including setting up a compensation fund.
I hope that this is the beginning. It's one step to move forward for a better, safer Catholic Church.
But it isn't enough for the Fortney sisters, 5 of whom were abused in the diocese by the same priest. They want all perpetrators and those who protect them to be held accountable in a court of law. Carolyn was still in diapers when her abuse started. In her family's case, there was evidence, and the church paid a $1 million settlement in exchange for not pressing charges or talking about the case. Last year, when the Pennsylvania Attorney General released a statewide report on clergy abuse, the Fortneys learned that the church had received another complaint against their abuser and done nothing.
That was validation to me, for us. And that's what victims are seeking. They're seeking that moment in court.
It wasn't just the Fortneys. The report found credible evidence that statewide some 300 priests had abused more than 1,000 children and that the church had a pattern of covering it up. The revelations have led to a federal investigation, and at least a dozen more states are now compiling their own reports. In Pennsylvania, victims have been lobbying elected officials to suspend the statute of limitations in older cases and give victims 2 years to take the church and their abusers to court. But legislation has gone nowhere amid fears lawsuits would bankrupt the church. In New York, churches have already made more than $200 million in payouts. Camille Buros oversees the awarding of funds for several dioceses.
I think that these programs have afforded these victims an outlet, a place to go, an avenue to seek some sort of compensation and admission of what happened to them.
But elected official ROZZI, who was raped by a priest at 13, believes changing the statute is the only way to hold the church accountable.
This is about the hierarchy aiding and abetting known perpetrators that allowed this to go on. And that's why I'm mad, is that this has to stop.
Courtney says she was heartened by what she heard at the meeting, not from the bishop, but from other Catholics.
A lot of them are voicing that, they're going to withhold their financial contributions,
raising the pressure on politicians as well as the church. Kristen, Saloomey, Al Jazeera, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.